Hi, this is Chelsea Anderson with your Red Door Real Estate team at Keller Williams Realty East Valley here in Phoenix. So as promised, I am bringing you Hold so that we can go through it together. So this is the first section here of Hold, how to find, buy, and rent houses for wealth. So the overall goal of reading this book is to, number one, learn how to do it, and number two, to increase your own financial wealth meter and your net worth. So what we're trying to do here is go through and kind of help you understand in layman's terms what is going on. Now, the book's not hard to understand. We're just going to help you chunk it down into each section. So, they're working from home today can be a little bit challenging. There are 5 sections. So, Hold starts with find, then we're going to analyze the properties, then we're going to buy them, then we're going to manage them, and then we're going to grow your wealth through that investment. So, the goal overall is to minimize your risks and maximize the profits, or maximize the wealth that will result from these investments. So the numbers are going to be the key, and that's really what we're speaking to here. We're not speaking to emotional attachments on different neighborhoods or housing types, anything like that. It's all about the numbers and what your return is going to be. So if you go through the overview, there's a really good part on Gary Keller and some of his experiences going through. There's a lot of life, what am I trying to say here? Kind of life lessons from different people that are part of this whole author group, and how they got started, what their first investments were, and things like that. So we can learn from them as we're going through this with their stories as well as their processes. So if we go to the here we go, the overview, page 24, and go through there. It's going to give us a little bit of a breakdown on what all the financial terms mean. So ROI, your return on investment, your ROR, your rate of return, and how we use those, as well as cash flow and your NOI, your net operating income. So cash flow and your net operating income are going to be kind of similar, and people will use them interchangeably. Your net operating income is actually going to be the amount of money that you make, including the amount of money that you will put towards your mortgage out of that bundle each month. Whereas your cash flow is literally the cash left over that goes into your pocket. So if you buy any of these properties without a mortgage, they are going to be the same number. If you buy them with a mortgage, you're going to be more concerned with your cash flow rather than your net operating income. So the cash flow is key. As long as you have positive cash flow, the investment is doing good for you. So there are going to be 3 financial returns that we're paying attention to. One obviously is cash flow, like we just talked about. The other one is your pay down on your mortgage. So if you buy it with a mortgage, whoever is renting out your property from you is going to be giving you a monthly rental amount. That amount is going to go towards covering your mortgage, paying your taxes, paying your insurance, paying the HOA if there is one, and then whatever is left over is going to be that cash flow that we talked about. Now that piece that's going to your mortgage is going to be your tenants paying that mortgage for you. So this is not money out of your pocket. It should not cost you anything to own this. You should be kind of self-inclusive here for each property that you own. So the last piece of that, the third financial return that we're paying attention to, is going to be the market appreciation. So here in Phoenix, we're expecting about 4% this year. I think we got somewhere close to 4% on a macro level last year too. So if we bought something for $100, it's going to be worth $104,000 next year. So that's going to be that 4% is that $4,000 growth in the overall value of our investment. So with those 3 categories, that is what we're paying attention to here. So when we go into this, we're going to be identifying criteria that fit our investment needs. And by our investment needs, I don't mean as a group, I mean you specifically. So say, I'll use my plan for example. I want to own 10 properties in the next 15 years. So I already have 2, and I'm looking for a third. What I'm looking for needs to fit my financial criteria as to what cash I have available to put down as a mortgage, what I'm demanding as my cash flow afterwards by my own standards, and the location of those properties, the number of bedrooms, the amenities that are around, that type of stuff I'm going to be very, very specific about that and make sure the properties I'm looking at fit that criteria, or I'm not looking. Not at all. The other piece of this is going to be putting together your investment team. So there's 5 people that you're going to want to be looking for. A realtor, you already got one. A lender, which we can help you get in touch with a couple, and you can kind of figure out who's going to work best for your style, and make sure that they understand your investment strategy and what criteria you're looking for. So everybody needs to be on the same page as far as your criteria and your strategies go. So realtor, lender, your property manager, your attorney, and your CPA. So those are the 5 people that you're going to want to go out and pick your team. So again, everybody needs to all be on the same page. We all need to have the same investment goals in mind that are your goals that you've dictated to us. So we're not just putting out a blanket, this is the investment plan, you like it or you leave it. No, one size does not fit all here. So you need to come in, sit down with all of us, figure out what it is that we're looking for, what our budget is, and what our expectations are. So it's all really, really going to come from you. So a couple of things to pay attention to. In the overview, the rule of 72 kind of helps you figure out your rate of return for these properties, and when you can expect to double your money on your investments. So kind of a handy chart when you're looking at properties and identifying criteria, different rental brackets, different price points, things like that. And I guess that is on page 37 of the overview. Once you start getting into the actual meat of things, they're going to be talking about finding properties, which we just touched on a little bit. Create your criteria and really, really stick to it. Nothing gets looked at unless it fits your criteria. So if you need help figuring out your criteria, I'm happy to schedule an investment consultation with you. Or there's a handy-dandy checklist in here if you want to do it yourself. It's page 28. So a whole worksheet on location, property type, economics, condition. You need to figure some of that stuff out. Like, if you put down 20% on your mortgage, does that tap all your cash flow so you don't, or your cash reserves so you don't have any money to fix anything up? That's going to determine the property condition that you're buying. If you have some leftover money and you're willing to put in some sweat equity, you might be able to do that. Put a little bit into it, the value of that property will go up, and you'll be able to see better rates from your rental income as well. So a couple of different moving variables there that might just depend on what the property is and what it looks like and where the numbers actually line up. So then chapter 3 really goes into how do you find these properties. So your biggest resource is going to be your realtor, right here. And who we know, what we see coming on the market, and we can cruise what's already listed for you. If you want to go out and do it yourself, then you're welcome to prospect, which is actually going out and talking to people to see who they know, or you can market, which is putting some money into mailers or something like that to see if anybody wants to sell in the specified neighborhood that fits your investment criteria. So happy to help in any of those categories. And just let me know what you're looking for. We can schedule about 30 minutes and kind of get you started, get you brainstorming, and kind of go through what's out there and what's available to you. So lots to discuss. Next week we'll be talking about stage 2 here, or section 2, which is going to be all about analyzing the different properties before you buy them. So it's not very long. It's only about 50 pages or so. It's an easy read. If you have questions, let me know. Cell number is 602-748-6136, or feel free to email me at chelsea@yourreddoorteamaz.com, and I'll put that all in the comments here. So we'll check back next week. Good luck with section 2. If you have questions, let me know. If you want to know which properties we've identified and what kind of rates of return, things like that there are, let me know. I'm happy to send that to you and use it as an example, or maybe it's a property that fits your investment criteria already. So very good. Congratulations on taking this next step into building your financial wealth. We're excited to be on this journey with you, and let me know how I can help. We'll talk to you soon. Thanks.